let's see, we're gonna drop a button, a chiseled quartz block, and a block of quartz. We push this, those go away. It sets the loadout cool test. We push this, and we get them all back, and it says Spyderrock 10 selected cool test. Hello guys, this is Spyderrock and welcome back to another Minecraft command tutorial video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a class selection or loadout selection system inside of Minecraft. As usual, I am on Bedrock Edition. This should work somewhat similarly in Java Edition. However, there are other ways to do it and this may not work entirely the same, so I can only guarantee that this will work on Bedrock Edition. So essentially how this works is it lets you, without having to change any of the commands, and it only uses a few commands, but without having to change any of the commands, you can essentially set, completely customize your loadouts. You can completely choose your loadouts and give them to yourself, and you can rename them too. As always, I'd like to ask you guys to subscribe, because obviously. I'd also like to mention that I was inspired to make this by Jesser101's video on a similar thing that is essentially the same thing, but a little bit different, not really making loadouts and stuff. So I will leave a link in the description to their video. You should go subscribe to them and watch that video as well. But I will show you how to do everything you need to know here. So let's go ahead and make some loadouts. So first loadout we're gonna make is going to be a Minecrafter or something. Here, let's call it a Minecrafter. So if you want to set a name, grab yourself a name tag and call it, we're gonna say Minecrafter. Can I not put ER? There we go, Minecrafter. And then we're gonna have a netherite sword. They custom names work too, because yes, you can have enchantments, custom names, and durability, as I'll show you later. So we're gonna go ahead and drop both of our items on this little gold block here. We're going to name this armor stand up here Minecrafter, and then we push the button, loadout 1, Minecrafter, set. All right, so next we're going to set our loadout 2. We're gonna grab prismarine crystals, iron nuggets, and scoots. Now this will save all of your amounts of things, so I'm just gonna leave this one as loadout 2 for the sake of trying it out, and then I'm going to drop all of these. I'm just control dropping so they all drop into that pile. It has to be on the gold block here, and I push the button, loadout 2 set. So we've got loadout 2, and then finally loadout 3, which I'm going to grab myself another name tag, grab 3 snowballs, and a partially broken trident. And this one's going to be called Snow Trident thing. There we go. Snow Trident Thin. Okay, that's the name of this loadout. And then go ahead and rename your armor stand up there. And then we can go ahead and drop our items here, snowballs and the trident, and then push the button. Loadout 3, Snow Trident Thin, set. So now if we want to get these loadouts, I have these 3 buttons set right here. I select give loadout 1, and look at that, Spyderrock and selected Minecrafter, and we have a netherite sword, and then custom names work too. Loadout 2, Spyderrock 10 selected loadout 2, prismarine crystals, iron nuggets, and a scoot, and then loadout 3, Spyderrock 10 selected Snow Trident Thin, and we got the trident with the damage as well as our 3 snowballs. Now if you want to, you can also add a thing that clears the player's inventories. To this I didn't, just because I wanted to show everything in the same inventory at the same time. But if you want to, you can. And then if you want to reset these loadouts, you just click the set loadout buttons with nothing there, and it will reset the items, and then you can change the names up here to whatever you want to. It's still going to be Minecrafter, loadout 2, and Snow Trident Thin, but you don't get anything for any of them. So making this is pretty simple, and I'm gonna go ahead and go over it entirely with you guys. We're, for the sake of the video, only gonna do 1 loadout here instead of like all 3, but you can repeat this as many times as you want for as many loadouts as you like. So I'm just gonna grab a gold block. It's not important, the gold blocks and the quartz and stuff. I'm just doing this for style points. And then we're also going to want to grab ourselves a, if I can go ahead and, can you not pick block? I guess you can't pick block, what are they called? Armor stands. Let's see, where are armor stands? Here we go. We're gonna need an armor stand, a button, blocks of any sort, regular command blocks, and repeating command blocks. And that's pretty much all you're going to need. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Let's see, how about over here? So I'm gonna go ahead and just build a little wall going up here. This is where we're gonna have our button, and then I'm gonna have the gold block marked where we're gonna drop our stuff. It's gonna be this block here, the block where the gold block is now, the block above this gold block. And then I'm gonna go ahead and build up a little thing over here, which is where we're going to select our loadouts. Yet again, you can put this kind of basically wherever you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a chisel quartz there, and then I'll put another chisel quartz in the floor. Let me go ahead and repair this up and then put down our button. So now, selecting loadouts is pretty simple. So the command you're going to want to put into here is structure save and then something colon something. So in my case, I'm using SP as my, I guess I'm going to call it a header or a prefix. SP colon L1 for SP colon loadout 1. Although I'm actually going to change that because I'm already using that. So we're going to call this SP colon test. And then your coordinates. So in our case, this is going to be 2 blocks over in the third coordinate by -2 blocks, and then down 1 in the first coordinate. So that's this block right here. This is, depending on where you put this, you'll want to change those coordinates. But for me, it's squiggle, squiggle, -1, squiggle, -2, and then repeat the same 3 coordinate things again. So it's squiggle, squiggle, -1, squiggle, -2 for me. That may be different for you. And then just put true, disk, false. This will save your loadout. So how this is working essentially is we're making a structure, and the structures save indies. If you have these options on over here, it will save the indies, and technically items count as indies, so it gets rid of, or I guess it saves the items into your computer or phone or console's memory. I'm pretty sure this works on console. I hope it does. Now go ahead and throw yourself down a repeating command block, and you're going to want to put inside of it execute at P and then the coordinates of the block above the gold block. So in my case, these coordinates are 80, 26, -50. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to 80, 26, -50. Here we go. We have 80, 26, and then -50. Here we go. And then kill at E type equals item R equals 1. So that's just essentially saying that as long as there is a player nearby or in the world, that this block right here, any mobs that are right here that also happen to be items in this specific block where I'm standing will be killed. Now, if you don't want to get rid of the items when you throw them down to set the loadout, you don't have to include this command block, but that's how I have it, so that when you throw them down, you push the button, it gets rid of them. If you want to, you can add particles or something so it looks like, ooh, shiny, it's saving the thing. And then the final command block we're going to want to put down is another repeating command block. Say loadout 1 at E tag equals L1. So I'm going to call this loadout 1 test loadout. And then we're going to have at E tag equals test. So this is where the armor stand comes in. So, and then we're going to have, test set. So it's just saying this loadout, test loadout, and then the name of your loadout, and then set. So how we're naming the loadouts, I'm just going to put the armor stand up here for ease of use. You can put it pretty much wherever you want, as long as you can get to it with a, whatever that's called, with a, here, let me go ahead and grab a name tag here, and I'm going to rename it to, cool test. This is going to be the name of our loadout. So test loadout, cool test. The loadout's name is cool test. As always, we can change it later. So go ahead and name your armor stand, and then you're going to want to run the command /tag at E type equals armor stand, comma space R equals 1, and then add. And then, so we already have those 3 tags existing, but since we already set our tag to test, in the command block, just do that, add test, and this command, or this armor stand now has the tag of test. So now we're going to reference essentially this here with the name. So whatever you set the name of this to will be referenced right here. You could put at P and that will reference the name of the player, but in our case we're doing at E tag equals test. I don't think it will show up if you just don't have a name there. I'm not sure what happens if you don't have a name, but we're doing cool test here. So if we push this, it'll say test loadout, cool test set. So we could say, I guess I'll get rid of test in the test loadout thing. So it just says, it could say just loadout set, but loadout and then the name of the loadout and then set. So loadout, cool test set. There we go. So now we want to make it so we can actually select these loadouts. So that's where these commands over here come in. So grab yourself an impulse command block and put it on the back of this block and set that command block to execute at P squiggle 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 structure load and then the name of your structure. So I believe my other one is SP colon test. I'm going to go ahead and check that just to make sure that this structure right here, the SP colon test, there we go. So make sure these 2 command blocks match essentially. So this is saving SP test and this one over here is loading SP test. You can see load SP test and then the 3 squiggles will have it load essentially directly on top of the player. Now we're going to grab ourselves a chain command block and make it say at P selected and then at E tag equals, and so we have test as our tag for our command block. So it will say at P, so it will say your name, and then it will say selected, and it'll say the name of this whatever it's called, this armor stand. Now you don't have to use armor stands, you can use whatever you want as long as you can easily name it and as long as it won't move around or run away too much or die. So essentially now we can go ahead and drop ourselves a let's see, we're gonna drop a button, a chiseled quartz block, and a block of quartz. We push this, those go away. It sets the loadout cool test. We push this, and we get them all back, and it says Spyderrock 10 selected cool test. Now, if you want to make it so it clears your inventory first, you're going to want to go ahead and grab both of these command blocks. You can press Control and middle click, I think is by default, but you can always change that later. And go ahead and here, let me grab a regular command block as well. Go ahead and start this off. You can go ahead and put these back down here, and then you're going to want to make the first one, keep it as impulse, and make this one kill at P. And then these two are going to be the same. You just want to change this first one here that was an impulse command to a chain and always active. Make sure if you have a chain, it's always active, or else if you want the chain to like be part of the chain, you have to literally power it with redstone. And also I recommend making your impulses always need redstone. And I like having previous output on because you can see here it says loaded a structure of name sp:/test. It's just pretty handy for debugging if you get something wrong. So now if we go ahead and say make this loadout just the command block, let me push this button. It clears, well, it should clear our inventory and give us the command block, but kill at P. I put kill at P. I meant clear at P. I'm gonna put a little thing so you guys will have typed clear at P, hopefully. We press this and there we go. It resets our loadout to just this command block. So that's optional. I don't really like doing that because like, let's say you wanted to have it as an addition to whatever you had. If you had this in a survival world or something, you could do that. But in our case, since maybe you'd want to use this for like a PvP map, you'll probably want it to clear your inventory and give you these items. But you know, I don't know, you can mess around with this. I just thought this was a pretty neat and interesting thing that you could do. As always, thanks for watching. If you made it here, I have a Discord server. If you have any questions or you just want to hang out, you should join it. There's also a link in the description. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys later and bye.